January is only a few weeks away, so it's time to start planning. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about planning for success when it comes to New Year's resolutions in January. Here's the thing, planning and preparing ahead of time can really help you kickstart any new goals or habits you want to start in the new year. But it does take some time to really get an idea of what you want to do and setting yourself up for success to achieve those goals. A lot of the time, you gotta do your research and decide how you want these changes to look in your life. So by starting in December, at least getting an idea of what you want to do and doing a few little things here and there, when January comes, you're ready to go. But here's the thing, I do want you to enjoy the month of December. It's the holidays, it's a really fun time of year, and the last thing I want you to do is to start a new diet or start a new fitness trend or really get caught up in all of these new goals, because this time of year is really meant to be enjoying the holidays and spending time with friends and family. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can do to start planning and preparing for January while still enjoying the holidays. But first, hi, my name is Katey. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. My goal of this channel is to help you learn more about nutrition, fitness, and wellness so that you can be your best, whatever that looks like. I also love to do product reviews, so if any products or topics you want me to cover, just let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's get started. Tip number 1 is surround yourself with the right people. Now, of course, I really do mean that I want you to surround yourself with people who support you and lift you up. But what I really mean is I want you to spend the next couple of weeks curating your social media feed. We are on our phones every single day, and the people we follow and watch have a huge influence on our thoughts and behaviors. And so if you're following accounts that promote poor lifestyle habits such as partying a lot, eating less nutritious foods, talk about really negative things, or anything else that goes against your goals, it's time to unfollow them and start trying to fix your social media feed so you see less of it. This could also be people that you actually know that make you upset or stress you out seeing their content. So for example, if you went to high school with somebody and just the idea of them being on your feed stresses you out, unfollow them. The thing about social media is it can be used as a good tool and a bad tool. And so you can decide who you're going to follow and what your algorithm is going to look like. And this means resetting your algorithm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or whatever app you use. And there are actually really easy ways to reset your algorithm that you may not be aware of. So on TikTok, for example, you can reset your For You page by going to settings and privacy, then content preferences, and then click refresh your For You feed. Or what you can do is as you're scrolling through the app, if you don't like a video, all you need to do is press down on it and click not interested. And then this will remove that type of content from your feed. So the same thing applies for Instagram. All you need to do is go into settings, content preferences, and then click reset suggested content. YouTube is a little bit trickier. There are ways to do it as well. So you need to just go into your settings. If you're using YouTube, for example, on the TV or your laptop, then what you really need to do is just start clicking videos that would interest you and start searching up things that are based on your goals. The thing with YouTube and all of these apps is they want you to stay on it. So they're going to show you things that they think you're interested in. And so if they think you're interested in healthy lifestyle behaviors, they're going to show you more of that. So by doing this over the next couple of weeks, you're allowing your algorithm to start resetting. And so when January hits, you're going to see a lot more of the content that's going to motivate you, inspire you, and teach you things that are going to help you live a better, healthy lifestyle. Remember, at the end of the day, you are what you surround yourself with. And so by surrounding yourself with that positive content that's going to help you, you're really setting yourself up for success. Okay, so tip number 2 is learn more about your goal. Over the next couple of weeks, I want you to take time to learn more about the goal you're trying to achieve. So for example, if you want to build muscle, watch videos and learn more about building muscle. So through strength training, eating a higher protein diet, and recovery methods. Maybe you want to lose weight. So this is the time to learn more about portion sizes, reading ingredient labels, and learning how to achieve weight loss in a sustainable, healthy way. Really, whatever your goal is, the more you take the time to learn about it, the more you're going to succeed. Just trying to do it off a whim isn't really going to set yourself up for success, and you're going to have a hard time sustaining it long term because you haven't actually taken the time to learn how to do it properly. So how do you learn more about your goal? Well, starting with this video is a great starting point, so good job. So for example, following my account, just saying, you don't have to, but just saying, is also pretty great. But in all seriousness, depending on what you want to learn about, you're going to want to look for qualified experts on the topic. Of course, I think YouTube is one of the best places to learn. It's much longer form content, so you're actually getting into the details rather than some of the other apps that have, 1-minute videos. Online courses can actually be a really great option too, and there are tons out there. If you do like TikTok and Instagram, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you're following people who are qualified to talk about the subject that you're interested in. So for example, if you're interested in nutrition, it's ideal that you're following a registered dietitian or somebody who has a high level of education in nutritional science. Same thing applies for fitness, medical information, whatever you want to learn more about. Go to the experts. If they aren't necessarily an expert in the topic, but they provide really interesting, entertaining content, that's totally fine, and you can definitely still watch their content. Sometimes can provide very high quality content that a lot of health experts would agree with. I just would take this type of content with a grain of salt. So yes, maybe they have 1 million followers on Instagram, and maybe they do provide some good content. Maybe sometimes they don't. So just take what they have with a grain of salt and maybe cross-reference some of the information with qualified experts. Also, reading books is one of the best ways to learn. I know not everybody likes reading books, but it's a lost skill that a lot of people could benefit from. The other benefit with reading books is that it takes your eyes away from screens for a while. Yes, social media can be an awesome way to learn, but we don't always have to be watching screens all the time. It's not really great for our eyes, and it is good for our attention span to try to be entertained in other ways. Personally, I feel like I retain the most information when I read an actual book. I did make an entire video on some of my favorite health and wellness books, so feel free to check that out after this video if you're interested. But regardless of the way you learn, by taking time to learn more about the subject that you're interested in and you want to make a sustainable lifestyle change for, trying to do this ahead of time before January is going to again set you up for success. So tip number 3 is enjoy the holidays. This tip might seem counterintuitive, but I do not want you to spend the entire month of December stressing about your New Year's goal. It's not fun. You're going to miss out on tons of the holiday food and activities, and there's really more to life than being on a strict diet, exercising all the time, and being on a really strict wellness plan. Instead, I would encourage you to actually take time to enjoy the holiday season. Go to parties, hang out with loved ones, eat some good food, and yeah, sleep in. Obviously, we don't need to go overboard with anything. You don't need to go overboard with drinking. You don't need to eat 20 cookies in a sitting, and you don't need to sit on the couch the entire month of December. Obviously, balance is still important, but I don't believe December is the time that you really need to start making lifestyle changes. This is the time where you can start thinking about them while still enjoying the holiday season. Plus, one thing I do notice about the holidays or whenever I go on vacation or anything like that is, while I do definitely enjoy a little bit of change in my lifestyle, I do miss a more structured routine. And so by the time my vacation's over or the holiday season's over, I am looking forward to going back to my regular eating and fitness patterns. But really, by allowing yourself some flexibility during December, you're going to again set yourself up for success because you've allowed yourself to have fun, enjoy your life a little bit, and now it's time to get back into a normal routine. So tip number 4 is plan a schedule. This will depend on what your goal is, but planning a schedule can really help keep you on track. And a few weeks before you really start getting into that goal, getting an idea of what your schedule is going to look like can help. Let's say you want to start working out more and your main goal is to build more muscle. Well, what does that look like as part of your weekly routine? And the thing here is you need to be realistic with what your life is. So how many days a week can you actually dedicate reasonably and sustainably to strength training? How many days per week are you going to dedicate to other forms of movement? So for example, cardio, doing sports, doing flexibility training. And how many rest days do you want? Because rest days are very important to see actual results. Also consider what days of the week is going to work best for you in your schedule. Are there certain days of the week that are really, really busy for you compared to others? Are weekends a good time for you to work out or bad time? Everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different, so a good idea is to take a look at the calendar and base it on your typical week. So think about things that take up a lot of your time: work, school, family activities, and so on. And then set up a realistic schedule that's going to work with this. Yes, it would be great if we had all the time in the world to work out or plan all these healthy meals and do all of these things, but that's not real life. And if you're trying to fit in a really rigid workout schedule in an already busy, jam-packed schedule that you have going on, you're less likely to achieve your results. I'd rather you be really consistent with exercising, let's say 3 days a week, rather than you going really hard every single day for 2 weeks and then getting tired or too busy to complete it. So try to make a schedule that's going to help you be consistent and something you can stay in long term. And of course, this applies to other things besides just fitness. This can apply to healthy eating as well. So let's say that you want to eat more whole, minimally processed foods, which is an awesome goal. Well, if you're not used to this at all, trying to then all of a sudden make all of your meals from scratch, every single meal, every single day of the week, is going to be a challenge. Instead, maybe for the first month of January, you tell yourself that you're going to try to prioritize prioritize 3 meals a week where you make them from scratch or with as minimally processed ingredients as possible. Or maybe you're going to tell yourself that you're only going to eat out once or twice a week and the rest of the days you're going to eat from home. And then of course you can build up from there. Really, at the end of the day, you need to be realistic with what your life is. And yes, there are changes that we can make to our schedule, but there are some things that we can. Usually you can't change your work schedule, so you're going to have to work with what you have. And so by doing this over the next few weeks, you can get a realistic idea of what's going to work for your life. And then starting in January, you can actually start doing that routine. All right, so the last tip is change up your environment. Before January starts, it's time to start organizing and changing up your environment to set yourself up for success. So for example, let's say you want to prepare more meals from home. Well, do you have enough kitchen storage or counter space to do this? So in this case, maybe you need to spend an afternoon organizing your kitchen. Or maybe you want to do more workouts from home. Well, do you have space to work out? If you're constantly having to move furniture every single time you want to do a workout, it's going to be a challenge to do this consistently because it's another barrier to working out. So maybe over the next couple of weeks, you try to set up a little area in your house that can be dedicated to working out. So all you have to do is walk up and start working out. Maybe you want to start reading more. Well, do you have a well-lit space that's comfortable that you can sit and read for a while? The same thing applies. Find a space that's going to work for this. When you create an environment that makes whatever goal you want to do a lot easier, you're more likely to do it and be consistent with it. The moment you start adding in barriers, the less likely you're going to be to actually achieve these results that you want and have it be a sustainable part of your routine. So for example, if your workout space is full of clutter, maybe you have a bunch of laundry hanging on your treadmill, that's a barrier and you might just end up closing the door and not wanting to work out. Or let's say your cupboards are packed with foods that don't align with your health goals. You're more likely to eat those foods. So making sure that your cupboards are packed with healthy, nutrient-dense foods that support your goals, that's going to help you a lot more. Or if you want to relax with a book, but your bedroom's a mess, again, that does not align with the ultimate goal that you want to achieve. And since most people do have time off during the holiday, I understand not everybody does, but most people do have some time off during the holidays. This is a great time to start assessing your environment and seeing what you can do to make it align with your New Year's goals. So those are 5 things that I would recommend doing over the next few weeks to prepare yourself for your New Year's resolutions. And by doing these things, you are setting yourself up for success and long-term sustainable healthy lifestyle changes. Of course, I want to point out that life happens, nothing's going to be perfect, and I don't want you to put too much stress on this. And everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different, so choose what works for you, leave what doesn't, and hopefully this will help set you up for success with your goals. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any other topics that you want me to cover, and if you did enjoy this video, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel because your support helps me reach more people like you. And I'll see you in the next video.